The captions. All right, everyone. Welcome to week 9 of the Framework for Faculty and Student Success. I have a question from a student asking about, or a faculty member, asking about if, since we're starting on week 9 now, if they didn't do the previous weeks. So this course is go at your own pace. For the first 8 weeks was one section of the Washington course design checklist. So the section that was at the beginning was about creating a inclusive classroom environment. I believe it's belonging is the focus. So we are now done with that section 1. So you can go back in your own time and work through the standards and the indicators, but you do not need them prior to this class that we're having today. So if you start from week 9, you can see here we're going into the next section, and then we're looking at standard 2.1. So this is a good chance to jump in if you haven't done the other stuff yet. So we are going to start here in the prepare page. And so I'm going to put this in the chat if people want to follow along. Thank you all for coming on this Friday, and I apologize if you tried to come last week. There was a bit of a Zoom link mix-up. I thought nobody was coming because it was the first week, but it turns out the numbers after. So I looked at the calendar invite and I saw Zoom/8. I was like, oh, that means it's 8. But there's a different Zoom link with the 8, it's the start, and all the rest are different. And so that's why I got a little confused. So we're here now for week 9, clear and measurable outcomes. So section 2 of the Washington course design checklist. If you're not familiar, I will bring it up for us here. The checklist is separated into 5 different sections. As I was saying here, the section 1, sense of belonging and student engagement. Section 2 is outcomes and objectives. So we're going to work through these outcomes and objectives standards, standard 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. And then in the wintertime after the break, we will finish up with section 3, the assessment and feedback section. And so as y'all can see here, outcomes and assessments, in addition to making this course about outcomes and assessment, y'all should know that we're working close with outcomes and assessment for the in-service / outcomes and assessment days next week. So today is the 11th of October. Next week, it will be the 18th, and we will have no framework course. We're going to be doing the actual outcomes work throughout those 2 days. So that's a little bit of background about what we're doing. If you look here on this quiz, the format is a little bit different from before. I had the tabs at the top, but that got really messy. So instead, there are these almost like little tiles that you can click, and then it will give you the information as you click it. And that's nice because you can get the information as you need it. So if you just want to focus on the introduction, you can read that and then move down for the weekly outcomes and the alignment. So the weekly outcome for this week is we're going to reflect on our own social identities, privileges, and implicit biases to identify assumptions in your teaching practice and develop strategies to enhance inclusivity and student engagement. This is similar to what we were covering last time. So it's kind of like a bridge from section 1 into section 2. So it's a reflection day today. So let's go ahead and look at the reflection questions here. There's if you go into the introduction page on the assignments. So the way if you're new to this course, the way that we have it structured is we have the prepare. This is a quiz. At some point during this, I'm going to give you a secret code that you can put in, which is going to be the answer to the quiz. The quiz is just let me show you how it looks. So if I come in here, I say take the quiz. All I need to do is just put in the secret code and there's the option. No. Well, right now, quickly, if you're in here, you can click the welcome back. I need to edit that so it's a secret code so you can put it in. And the reason I'm doing that, it's not just for fun, but I just want to make sure that for the people who are here, you're engaged and participating. And then for the people who are watching it later, then they are actually watching this because this time that we're having together is going to count as an hour of pedagogy professional development. So, all right. Let's go to the assignment though. This is the assignment and this is what we are going to be focusing on today for our assignment. The introduction here, course outcomes. So we're going to look at the purposes and importance of our course outcomes. As y'all know, course outcomes guide the student learning and the instructor curriculum development. Just a quick, way to get y'all involved. How do you all like your course learning outcomes? We call them here at Clover Park course learning outcomes. How do you all like them? Do you think that they are good as they are? Do you think that they need to be improved in any way? Just what's the current status of your outcomes?
This is Tracy. I'm currently okay with mine. I did
Okay.
make a minor change just I think probably over the summer, but I do believe that they were revised by my predecessor not too long ago. So at least I feel like they're current at least.
That's good.
And so the one that I revised, I ended up getting rid of it because I felt like it had it was something about that students recognize when they are exceeding their capabilities and ask for help.
Mm.
And I didn't like it because I felt like it was that that they are able to take action, and maybe that's asking for help, but maybe it's also fixing it. And so I felt
Oh
like it
yeah.
was kind of it was almost underestimating the students' abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So are you so you revised it to that and then you're gonna probably go back to how it originally was?
No, my predecessor had added that and
Uh,
I got rid of that one. And because it also there was another one about able to troubleshoot. And so I just felt like it was already the parts that I liked about that were already included in something else. So
oh, okay.
yeah, I just crossed it out.
So a little redundant. If
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
you saw the different outcomes in another one. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you, Tracy, for sharing your current status. As far as changes go, I know that there's a rule at Clover Park. When you're changing your outcomes, you can't just go in and completely redo them. Um, Jaya, do you know? I know, are you part of the curriculum committee or
It
is?
depends on, I'm not Jaya, but it
Oh yeah, okay.
depends on the amount of change. But typically, anytime you change your outcome, you have to go through the curriculum committee and have it approved. If it's a major change, then they actually like change the number of the course and do stuff. So it's a process, and that's why I haven't done it. We did my Cecile and I. Cecile was here, my co-teacher before Rasha, and we started changing things and making stuff more current, but I'm still really not happy with it but I just haven't had the time to sit down with Snowy and do it.
Well, hopefully you'll have that opportunity next week. We have those 2 days to be working on these kind of things. Um, and yeah, so for the previous question where I was saying that if you're making big adjustments, then you have to go to the curriculum committee, I believe, where
Oh,
the
no, we just change our outcomes every syllabus. I think of new things to put in. I take things out. Of
it's
course,
okay to change it up.
no,
Isn't
I'm,
it like 40% or something? Like as long as it's, I
yeah.
think it's either 30 or 40%. I wish I.
Okay, I have no idea what the rule is, but what I'm saying here is I'm in witness protection today. Sorry, I just saw the screen. What I'm saying is like we did just change our curriculum, like Poppy, I think they changed theirs like maybe a quarter or three before us. And so now we're like living with those. And so as far as what I'm saying, refinement, it's just, we can take a closer look at them once we have them in place. And
Mm,
then whether they're working or not working, I think, we talk about it a lot. And yes, any changes would go through the proper channels
okay.
because we know that things work a certain way. So there.
Well, yeah, you gotta follow the
Yes.
rules set in place. And I wanted to start this whole section off with that because um I think I was going through the generative AI and I was like, okay, just go and you don't like it, change it. But I think it was Jaya in generative AI that was like, what's the process to go through this? Don't you have to go to a curriculum committee? So there is a process in place. If you're unsure about what that is, contact your dean and let them know or
Right.
talk about it with them next week.
And
So,
AI is a whole nother topic, right? Because it has not been included in any of my course outcomes to date. Okay.
okay, sorry. So course outcomes, scary word. There's always a lot of there's a lot of baggage behind it. Because as y'all know, outcomes, we track our outcomes with the work that Snowy is doing. And so you might think like, oh, I have to do it, some certain way. And hopefully, as we talk about this, then that process gets a little less scary and a little bit more like, okay, I would say my goal here for this whole section is to realize that outcomes are nice and they're a good like roadmap of where you want all your students to be by the time they finish their course. And so this is what I like here is as a course outcomes guide the student learning. And so if we're looking down here, some characteristics of some effective course learning outcomes. Outcomes use plain language and match the course skill level. Okay. So obviously you don't want something too difficult right at the beginning. It needs to be right at the skill level of where your course fits in the grander scheme of things. And plain language, I would say Snowy has a document, and if it's not in here already, then I'll try to add it in there that goes over how to write a good CLO. Actually, I think I have it here. So I'm gonna put it in the chat for the people that are in here, and for the people watching later, it should be somewhere in here. Like maybe I'll put it after this slideshow. But the course learning outcomes have a specific thing to follow. And actually, maybe we'll do that. That could be something later on. But just know that there is a a structure to follow. Actually, I think I have it right here. Let me see here. CLO. No, I only have the C. Oh yeah, here we go. How to complete the CLO assessment report. So this is a document that once it loads up, I'll show it on the screen that I got from Snowy when it was when I was looking at one of my courses and I was filling out the CLO assessment report. And so here you can just see course learning outcomes, indicate key knowledge of or skills that students should be able to demonstrate upon completion of the course. Here are the 5 things that Snowy thinks is the most important. Starting with an action verb. And I click this, does it open somewhere? I think this should bring up Bloom's taxonomy. Yeah, so this is, I haven't seen this. This is the Bloom's revised taxonomy. And does this look familiar to any of you that are in here?
Yes, it does. It's exactly what we did when we were rewriting our curriculum and our course learning outcomes. We use this. So yes.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
nice. Go ahead, Poppy.
I was just gonna say, yeah, they've shared this with us a few times. So familiar.
Oh, good. Then I don't need to spend much time explaining it. It's basically you have simple verbs on the left side for people to do things like define a word or recall something that you learned, list something. And then you just go down and it gets a little bit more involved and the path is like a path to mastery. So where you start where you're remembering stuff, then you're understanding it, then you're applying it, you're analyzing what you create. Same thing with evaluate, and then you creating is making something, right? Putting all the elements together. Oh, so analyze, breaking it down, and then evaluating and making the judgments. So that is part of, like I said, this document here. Favor precise action verbs over vague ones. Like, for example, understand. How do you know if your students understand something, right? Maybe you can give them a test and it can show that they're able to recall information that they previously knew, but understand is vague. Like, what does it mean to like truly understand something? Same thing here. To learn something, how do you know it's going to be learned? I guess you take a quiz, but a more specific verb for taking a quiz would be like recalling or defining. Avoid grouping multiple action verbs. So try to keep it simple, focus on one action for the students to be able to accomplish. And then it says here, avoid wordy stems. Demonstrate the ability of, so this is just like word salad. You can just say something like, student is able to do. You don't need to just demonstrate the ability. And then obviously they need to be achievable. So this is a good thing to look at as you read through your CLOs that you have now to make sure that it has all of these things. Or if you're in the process of redoing it, as Jaya said, maybe you have this thing. So, oh yeah, sorry, Poppy. I said I was going to put this into the chat and I didn't do it. So here is the file. And then, as I said before, let me see if I can just put it in here now. I'm just going to put it right into this assignment.
Are we able to save the chat? I don't see I don't see the dots like I do with my students.
I don't know about that. If you'd like, nobody said it before, but I could also, after we finish, I believe it saves the chat. Oh, actually, no. Do you not see the top right? I have this. Are you talking about the 3 dots?
Oh, there
at
it
the top
is.
right?
Okay, yeah. Mine is the one for my students when I'm teaching is down below where you write into chat. but I see it up here. It says save chat.
Okay. There you go.
Awesome.
Cool,
Thank
cool,
you.
cool. So, hold on. Let me put this in here real quick because it's not going to take me long, and that's going to make me not going to be able to do it later. So here, and then I'm just going to add in under the introduction. I'm going to put this file in here for everybody. Okay. So
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
you are welcome. Okay. So
Makes
we're
it handy.
yeah. We'll try to make it easy for y'all. So I'll put that one there, how to do CLO. And then if anybody needs to get it, they can get it right from the page. Okay. Moving on.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Measurable and relevant outcomes reflect observable behaviors and connect to broader goals. So once again, learning or understanding is not an observable behavior. Because you don't really know what's going on in their head.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Oh. And then connecting it to broader goals, connecting it to your program learning outcomes, connecting it to the campus-wide learning outcomes. Student engagement involves students in exploring outcomes to boost motivation. I would say as a student, if I know what I need to do in the course, it's very clear, and I'm going to class and I realize, oh, I'm going towards that goal, like I'm working to complete this outcome. For me, I like that kind of transparency. I like to see my goal, and then I'm able to see myself going towards that goal. And so for me, that boosts motivation. Reflecting on and revising course outcomes. So our focus here today is the reflection. As far as revisiting outcomes based on student feedback and assessments, if you have a quiz or an exam in your class and students are not, a majority are not doing very well, that's obviously not good news. But in a way, you can look at it as, okay, this is a weakness in the way that I'm teaching this material. That could be one reason. It could be that you just have a class that is full of people who don't like to take tests, but it just feels like all the classes that I've been in, the students show up and they know that that's part of taking a class, is taking assessments. And so like I said, if you get a quiz back and most people didn't do very well, then that is an opportunity for you to look at the way that you're presenting the material. Is there a more effective way to do it? And so revisiting the outcomes, getting feedback from students, keeping outcomes responsive to the student needs. So you might have just copied the outcomes from whatever textbook you're using, looking at the scope and sequence and the objectives. And sometimes that works. Sometimes that's not what the student needs. I would even say that there's been a lot of talk about AI. And if you know me and the TLC, we're kind of trying to stay ahead of the game on things related to generative AI. And I personally feel that due to all the documents and websites and PowerPoints and webinars I've been to, that students need some basic AI literacy. And that's something that we're working on in the TLC right now, trying to put together a AI literacy certificate program so that students can get those skills using AI. And then the approval process, that's something that we already talked about if you do make changes, depending on how much you make, you may need to run it through the proper channels, which I believe is curriculum committee. So, okay, here's a little bit more if you want to read on your own. I want to get into the assignment part now. And so you'll see these throughout the course. as we talk about the standards in general, there's usually a reflection where you have to think about your own course. We think it's important to focus on the why first and then the how after, which is also good for making outcomes. Why do they need to do this? And then how are they going to do it? There's a link here to get a course reflection journal. You can go there and click that link. It's got all the questions from section 1 and section 2. Actually, it looks like section 2 is incomplete. So this is a document that was made by the state board. I'll go and see if I can add in the last parts of section 2 and then section 3 for us. Or if you just want to copy and paste, there are a bunch of questions here. So you can just copy and paste these into a Word document. So I'm going to open this one up. And then I'll just copy and paste those in there. So this is what we're going to be doing for the rest of the time, is we're going to be looking at these questions. And we're going to look at them and talk about them together. We got a pretty small group today, so I think we can probably do like a roundtable discussion on these ones. So I'll give you all a couple minutes here to work through the first section, and then we can I'm going to start asking, and we can start to work down this list. And the goal here is to try to get down this list as much as you can, because for your assignment this week is to finish this reflection. So you don't need to do all of them. I would say as long as you have spent an hour on it, the credit that we're giving is for an hour of work. So if you just make it to this section after an hour, that'll be fine. If you're very quick and you know all the stuff and you make it to the end, that's fine too. So I want to make sure everybody is on the right page here that's in the room with us. So I'm going to put this in the chat. And do you all understand what we're about to do? Thumbs up from Chris.
Oh, yeah, I think so. As long, these are okay, before you get started thinking, keep scrolling. Make a list for each of the following. See, now I don't, where's that?
So I can go through these for myself.
I got it. I see it. It's what we're supposed to be answering is this: reflect on your lists and answer the following.
Yes.
How long has it been since you checked? Who are your court? What adjustments? Those questions.
Are they these ones, Poppy? Because I was with you for the first one. The second one on my list here, what power and privileges?
Oh, okay. So we're up at the before you get started. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. Who you are. So this, if I copied that into a Word document, that's what we want. Just those 4, or keep going all the way down.
If you're going to be in there and you're going to be copying and pasting, just why don't you just here? I don't know if I can put all of this in the chat because usually
okay. So all of that. Okay.
You can post it as a Word doc or something if you save that.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you, John.
Just give it a name.
So we'll call this one standard 2.1. And this is a Washington course design checklist.
Okay, thanks.
I'm going to put this in the chat for the people that would like that. And Debbie's here. Hello, Debbie. Thank you for coming. Just to fill you in on what we're up to in here is we're going through these reflection questions. we're gonna go through them together as much as we can as we have this time together. And then anything that you don't finish, I was saying spend about an hour on it and then submit that. So I put in the chat a document that has the questions. So all you would need to do is just go to a new line and answer them. I'm going to stop talking so y'all can concentrate and get into the zone. And I would say at about 1:40, I'm going to come back and then we're going to kind of run through these.
I have a question. Are you
Yes.
thinking we're gonna you want us to be writing out our answers to these questions while we're doing this? That's what we're doing right now? We're not just thinking about them and having a discussion?
I mean, do you think that would be a better thing? Because
Uh, no, not necessarily. But this is heavy stuff. I mean, I might need to spend an hour on one question. I'm just
as,
saying,
as long as you're, if that's what it takes, then
well, I mean, these are heavy questions.
these are heavy questions, and these are related to some of the stuff that we've done in the course over the summer. So
Right.
if you look back at some of those reflection documents, if you've done them, if you haven't done them, yeah, this is probably going to be a lot up front.
Yeah, I haven't done them.
If y'all want, just because I know that everybody hasn't done it, let me see if there's a good place that I can just do. Um, Oh, this is reflecting on the list. We got to make the list first. Uh, it looks like you have to follow it all in the order that it is, because when you think about these things, these heavy things, once you're in that mindset, then you can go in and you can see how it relates to everything that you're doing when you're teaching. So I'm gonna stop talking for a minute, and then y'all can get started. If you can't do it today, that's fine. If you need more time, that's fine.
All right.
Copy the class that you take.
Is
The
what?
class that you take.
Well, yes, this is for professional
All right, I've tried my best to answer the first three with whatever just came to my mind. I don't know if it's any good or not, but that's what I did. So, the first question, who are you? What makes you you? And describe your intersecting identities. My name is Ronald Lethko. I'm a white cisgender father and husband, curriculum and instructional designer, and spreader of knowledge. Does anybody want to share who you are?
Sure. I put uh, daughter, sister, mother, grandmother, aunt, cousin, friend, partner, teacher, student, resource of information, spiritual being.
Ooh, I like it. Very thorough, Poppy. Got all your roles in there. And relationships. Anybody else? I also should. Oh, I was working on that. I was supposed to be working on something else. So, I'll give it a sec if anybody wants to share their first one.
Well, I only got one done.
That's
And
completely fine.
I
What'd you
I
put?
had to think about it, but it's not like refined and I feel self-conscious to share.
You
So,
don't have to. If it's self-conscious and you feel uncomfortable, that is not the purpose of this activity. So
well, I do understand that, but I guess I wanted to preface it by insulting myself. So there you go there. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. All right. I just wrote that I am a practitioner of life and everything I've ever experienced makes me who I am. I'm an aging cis woman, and I don't know if I wrote that correctly. I don't know if using cis that way is correct. Um, I am an aging cis woman who is enjoying the process of letting go. I'm a spiritual person who respects and embraces many different philosophies about life.
Hmm.
So that's what I wrote. And there you have it.
I think it's great.
Oh,
It's
I
very
mean,
good.
I suppose we can't really judge them and we shouldn't judge them. So that's
No,
what I wrote. Thank
I
you.
liked what I heard. So
Thank you.
I'm not going to judge it as great or not, but I'll
Thank
put.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So, hold on. I'm trying to do something on the back end here. All right. No, that's not it. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Let's move on to the next part. The next question. What power or privileges and or lack of power and privileges come with how you identify, um, I guess is this cisgender? Yeah. I also don't know the proper way to do it, but
But
um
I'll look that up.
yeah, you look it up while I try to look it up, but I also got to do this. So
Yeah.
I have been given many privileges that other people don't have based on the color of my skin and sexual orientation. I don't typically get harassed for the way I look or act. So that's the privilege that I recognize. Oh, um, oh, and then Chris, is it okay if I read what you wrote in the chat?
Yeah, you can go ahead and read that.
Oh, okay. I thought you put it in there because you weren't able to talk, but if you want to share, or I can read it.
I can read it. So
Okay.
this is what ChatGPT answered about me on my behalf on the previous question. But it says I'm a technical instructor at Clover Park Technical College in residential construction and curriculum design. Bring a strong background in solar and electrical work with an associate's degree in sustainability and science. My identities are shaped by my experience as hands-on tradesperson and educator, lifelong learner. I'm also a person who values work-life balance and flexibility, which plays a significant role in my approach to teaching and career development. I love
Whoa.
outdoor activities like hiking and fishing, and its connection to nature influences how I view sustainable practice in construction. So
Okay.
I just want to comment on that and say that I think ChatGPT knows me much better than I know myself.
Yeah, I'm sure people are curious about what you typed to get this answer from ChatGPT because it looks like it's describing
Good.
a real human named
It,
Chris Cicito, but
uh-huh.
This is the chatbot that made this. So
Yeah, what was your like prompts? Or you
Just
don't
the
have to
question.
if
Just the question. That's it.
you just put,
oh,
but did you put anything about yourself?
No, it already knows all these things. I told it to, learn things about me in a previous
right.
chat.
So
Oh
he's
yeah, because
he's
now when you're
created his
logged
own
in,
chat GPT, his
Right.
mm,
own GPT. It's called
no,
the
I think what's happening now, Jaya, is that I don't know, you have the pro version or do you just have the
Yeah, I have the pro version.
so I'm not sure if they have it on the regular one, but I know the one that I use, the Pro, like every time you say something, like if you're say, "Oh, I'm this person," and da 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 da, if there's any information that it wants to store for later, it says memory updated, and
Yep.
so I'm assuming that Chris has used it a bunch and he's got his information on there, and so wow,
and I'm
this is
going in there right now to see if it has anything about me. Thanks, Chris.
Uh-huh.
Chris is very immersed in AI. He's a good person
yeah,
to have in this group. Or in
um,
any group. How's that?
Thank
Oh,
you.
I agree. I
you're
think.
welcome.
Chris, definitely a cool guy. All right, so let's go to the next question here. So that was Chris's for the who are you? This is what I wrote for my privileges. Uh, Tough topic, I know. If anybody wants to share, you can. If not, we can keep it moving.
Oh yeah, I'm doing other things now. Sorry.
No, no worries.
Yeah,
Having to-
I'm still on the other one about privilege, and I put privilege of networking with a strong group of individuals who provide me with, and then I basically information and support.
Ooh, I like that. The privilege of having an opportunity to network and work with other colleagues from the university? No, the college.
Yeah, so how do your identities, power, and privilege impact your teaching and course design practices? Well,
All right.
they basically uh, support it. I mean, and the whole thing of networking to me is uh, you get that you get the differences. I don't know how else to put that, but you're exposed to white, black, male, female, uh, all different identities.
Mm-hmm.
And so you when you're networking, you're just not locked in a closet where you only have
Mm.
your stuff to do. You have input from all sides that helps you make your course design and teaching more rich, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. I think, yeah, the diverse perspectives, if I were to try to
That's a good word.
uh, attach a vocabulary word to that, I think that's what makes us successful as humanity, as humankind, is learning from other people and seeing what other people are doing, deciding whether you want to model that behavior, or follow it or not follow it. So I did a quick one here that is about how my identities, power, and privilege impact your teaching. I'm not super happy with the way I worded it, but the idea that I wanted to get across is that, like, in the past, it's been, white males that have been leaders, and think about 100 years ago, if you would have went to a university or a college, then there's probably a white male that's just giving information to you, and just what was that one thing? Just like feeding you information, sage, like we call the sage on the stage, if you've ever heard of that. Um, But for me, I feel like whenever I'm in the classroom or whenever I'm working with other people, similar to what Poppy mentioned, I think it's the diverse perspectives that it's kind of gives you opportunity to learn from other people. And I learn a lot from my students. I'm sure you all feel the same. Like you'll get in the classroom and you're like, oh, I didn't know that. Um, and so that's the kind of approach that I like to take. Jaya, I see you have a hand up.
Yeah, thank you. I was because if I look closely at that question, how might my identities, powers, and privileges impact student understanding of your course outcomes? That's where we're at, right?
I think I went to this one, but it's very similar. So this one
Right.
is
Oh,
impact course design. This one is understanding of course outcomes. But if
right.
you want to talk about this one, we can.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking that basically, I mean, our course outcomes, okay, maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, our course outcomes should reflect like the skills that are required for students to move forward in our career, the desired career that and program that they're in. So my identities, power and privileges, yeah, I guess if I wasn't right immersed in my field of practice, I would not be able to offer some opportunities, to all students equally. So,
Mhm.
okay, I'm just wondering how I identify really reflects anything that has to do with the students,
Mhm.
with the course outcomes that I write. Because I'm not even really thinking of myself when I do that.
Yeah, and maybe that's the
Maybe I
answer.
need to.
Think about yourself.
No, not any more than I already do. Believe me, I'm already obsessed with myself. But what I'm saying is maybe I need to think about how who I am affects what I mean, in a real way, what I bring to the students and
Mhm.
oh no, this just makes me feel like I'm a mess. Yeah.
No, no.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Jai. I agree. I feel like um, part of it is, if you want to take that, maybe you do the reflection and you think, okay, I'm this person. And maybe it doesn't have nothing to do with your outcomes. Maybe you can't find something there, but that's the I think that's the good part about reflections. You can find whether it's
Right. It's the
there is some,
searching.
mm, yeah, I like that. And it's a process. It's not, I know this is a question and it's like, I feel like I need to answer this question in a certain way, but maybe
I
if
feel
you
like I need a psychologist in this group with us.
oh, does anybody teach that at our school?
I don't know. It's kind of interesting though to think about it.
We could bring some what are
I,
the
I have
advisors?
a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Pop.
And I don't know how to put this. So that's why I want to throw it in because looking at these questions, how does everything answer the following, my identities and such. What is it called again with uh, basically as a human, I have uh, I'm predisposition to think and do
Implicit bias.
what implicit bias.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, because that's yeah. So
So I just shouted it out.
I like it. Thank
I
you.
thought this was
Yeah, you nailed it.
I thought this was Jeopardy, but I didn't buzz in.
What is implicit
No,
bias?
that was exactly what I was looking for. Because what I'm trying to say is that all of the this how I identify with and stuff, it helps me. It helps me balance and see my implicit biases, so that I
Mm,
can then go beyond them to hopefully address student needs and all of that.
Right.
yeah.
It's good. It's like a good mirror, I guess.
Mm, I
Is
like
there a good mirror? That's what I'd like to ask because I don't own one. All right.
that. All right. So, okay, we're coming up on the hour. like what we're talking about here, and I really appreciate Poppy and Jaya in here for sharing it, and then Chris obviously for um, his contributions as well. I want there's something that you all need from me, and I'll show you.
Darn, I already forgot about that. Look at
I
that. I
I
was so
I fixed
engaged.
it. So here it is. And for those that don't know, if this is your first time here, Poppy,
Yeah, grab a
um,
pencil or whatever.
there is a this week 9 clear and measurable outcomes intro is a quiz, and you need to put in a secret code. And I'm making the code here for today. This,
Okay.
I can't say it. People have to watch it
Okay.
to see it, but it's
All right.
this
Lower,
word here,
lowercase, right?
all lowercase.
Okay, thank you.
Where do I see this code?
In the quiz area. You go to the quiz area.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you
know
have to
where to
go.
put it in, but
Oh,
how, where are you showing it to me
yeah, he
right
was
now?
showing it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I
Um,
didn't, I,
um,
I already answered the quiz. And
Oh, if you
it's,
already
I
answered the
just
quiz,
pressed
then
on
you're
the
good to go,
outcome.
Poppy.
Huh?
I think
So
there was an answer
that's,
before, and so as long as you did that
okay.
one, you're good to go. As long as it says your quiz is done.
okay.
For those that didn't finish the quiz, this is what you need to
So
put.
you've circled it and highlighted it. That's what you're telling me.
That's right.
Yes.
That, all right, so where,
So if you come over here to
all right, so I'm in the module.
okay, go to the intro for week 9.
Okay, I go to modules. Thank you for putting up with me.
No, you're good.
And I'm going
Sorry for
to,
always making things so complicated, Poppy.
I'm going to week 9, right?
Week 9.
And then where do I go? Prepare, build, reflect.
Let's go for prepare for the intro.
Why isn't it opening?
So I'll stick around with you, Poppy, to help you finish this off. For
Okay,
everybody else, thank you for
thanks.
coming. I hope to see. Oh, next week, no
Yeah, we
framework
have in
class.
service.
We got in service. So I'll see you all next week at in service.
Never enough in service. Okay. I'll see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jaya.
All
Always
right,
a pleasure.
so
All right, so Poppy, once you're in here to the quiz, oh, actually, let me stop.
I can't even get into, I'm clicking on week 9, clear and measurable outcomes. And it